Hello guys, welcome to my second video of exploring React packages which may help you in building your application look beautiful, optimized, and faster. Today we will explore Chart.js. Chart is a popular JavaScript library for creating interactive and visually appealing charts in web applications. It provides a simple and flexible API for creating various types of charts, including line charts, bar charts, radar charts, donut charts, and more. Among many charting libraries for JavaScript application developers, Chart.js is currently the most popular one. Chart renders chart elements on an HTML5 canvas unlike several others, mostly D3.js-based, charting libraries that render as SVG. Canvas rendering makes Chart very performant, especially for large datasets and complex visualizations. As of now, Chart 4.4.1 is the latest version. Let's start building our Chart app. Vite is a build tool for modern web development that is designed to be fast and efficient. Just paste in the command prompt and press Enter. Now enter your project name. Select the framework as React. I am not using TypeScript, so select JavaScript and press Enter. Follow the command now. I want to tell you something important. For React, most of the developer use React Chart.js 2. React Chart.js 2 is a React wrapper for Chart that allows us to use Chart elements as React components, but in reality Chart is the one that is handling the data. React Chart.js 2 make it easier to handle data and events. In this video, we won't be using React Chart.js 2. I'll demonstrate how to implement Chart directly in React. Let's remove the boilerplate. Coming back to Chart.js documentation. Install Chart.js. Let's create our component graph. We can pass props to this component to render different graph as per our need. Import our chart from the following path as it ensures we get all the features of Chart.js. Declare a HTML canvas and make sure you provide ID to it through its parent. If parent does not provide ID, then default is canvas. Now create a function. In this function, we will initialize Chart.js. Get the canvas element in a variable. The getContext function provides access to the 2D drawing functions of the canvas tag. This is basically telling JavaScript that the context of the drawing is going to be one of two-dimensional. I will console log and run our function in use effect hook. Running our project. I forgot to import our component in app. You can see we are getting our canvas element in console log. Create a reference using useRef hook. Now instantiate a new chart instance in our reference. We need to provide two arguments to the chart instance. The first is the canvas element where the chart would be rendered, and the second is options object. Let me paste the data. We will explore everything in the options object. Let's save it and refresh the page. We will get this error when you try to create a new chart on the same canvas element without destroying the existing chart. We get this error because useEffect runs twice in development mode. When it runs the build chart function for the first time, the chart was initialized and it was given ID 0 as you can see. But when it runs for the second time, we need to destroy the first chart instance because a canvas cannot handle two instances. Each Chart.js instance is associated with a unique ID, and if a canvas is already in use, you need to destroy the existing chart before creating a new one on the same canvas. To destroy the instance we will use, destroy method of Chart.js. The error is gone and we get a beautiful bar graph. Let's explore different type of graphs chart provide. We have seen the bar graph. Second graph is line. We have donut. Pie graph. We have polar area. Radar graph. The last one is bubble graph. All graph uses same data syntax excluding bubble graph. Let me paste the bubble graph data. Here x and y are coordinates and are stands for radius of the circle. Let me go back where we started. I have put the data in our data state and provided the data state as second option in the chart instance. Now let's talk about different options in short. First is type. We have already gone through different types of graph. Second property is data. The data property is an essential part of the chart configuration. It defines the structure and content of the data that the chart will visualize. The data object typically includes information about labels, data sets, and options. The options property is an object that allows you to customize the appearance and behavior of the chart. It includes various configuration options related to scales, tooltips, legends, and more. The plugins property are additional functionalities or extensions that you can integrate into your charts to enhance their capabilities. Chart.js allows you to use various plugins for tasks such as zooming, annotation, data labeling, and more. Let's go in depth of data property. Data property contain two majorly required property, labels and data sets. The labels property is an array that contains labels for the data points on the x-axis of your chart. The datasets property is an array of dataset objects. Each dataset object represents a set of data points that share common properties. It includes information about the data values, colors, and other attributes. The properties which I will be showing will be used in almost all the graphs. Let's move. Changing the background color of the bar. Background color can have a single color or array of colors which must be equal to the length of data we have provided. Adding border width. Adding border color. Changing the type to line to show how current properties adapts to different graph. You can see background color is of no use in line graph. Instead, it uses border color to change the line color. Let me paste some more properties. Point style is by default circle. We have different options for point style. Cross, dash, rect, star, triangle, and last is false. We have pointer radius and point hover radius. Let me go back to bar graph. Now I will show you how to work with multiple datasets. I will just copy and paste the current dataset and modify it. We will now use the same dataset to display stacked bar chart graph. I will be using the option property to enable stack bar. We will go in depth of all the option property in few minutes. So this is how stacked bar chart looks like. Let me go back to default data. As we are exploring data property, I will show you different types of formats that chart can handle. We have already covered the first type. I will paste the second format. You can provide the data to chart. The major change in this format when compared to first format is that it accepts array of objects and not array of numbers. It does not have labels key because label is provided in the X key and its value in Y key. Now the third format, here data is object where key is the label and its corresponding value is label's value. Paste the background color inside the object of dataset. Let me go back to default data. Now we will explore options property. As I said before, the options property is an object that allows you to customize the appearance and behavior of the chart. The first thing we explore is responsive. By default, it is true. It enables responsiveness and control the resize behavior of charts by detecting when the canvas display size changes and update the render size accordingly. Let's keep it as false. You can see, it does not respond to the resize event of the window. Let me just type the keys of options that we will cover. The plugin key handles all the graphical representation part. First, we will see how to manipulate chart legend. The chart legend displays data about the datasets that are appearing on the chart. To hide legend, just use display key and set its value as false. By default, it is true. We can provide position to our legend using position key. Its position can be top, left, bottom, right, and chart area. Default position is top. We can align our legend with align key. Its value can be center, start, end. You can play with position and align key to position your legend. We can also change the font visual in legend. We will use font key inside our labels. Let's apply border radius by first enabling border radius for the legend, and after that we can use border radius key to apply radius. Provide color using color key. We can also change the box size of the legend box using box width and box height. The default value of width is 40 pixel, and for height it takes the font size. We can have a title at the top of our chart using title key. Default, it is false. We will enable it using display as true, and after that we need to provide a text that we want to display as a title. We customize its look by giving color and font size as follows. Now we will change the font family of our chart. We can change the font family globally using defaults of chart. You can also change the font family using the font key in our data. We can position the title using the position and align key as we have seen earlier. We will now move to tooltips. Tooltips are by default enabled. If you don't want tooltip, then you disable it using enabled false. Let's change the look of the tooltip. The title is now green in color, as you can see. This part is called body in the tooltip. We can change the look of that too. We will change the background color now. We can align the tooltip position using X align and Y align key. This is called correct. These key align the tooltip correct as shown. You can use following values as shown in the image to align your correct. We can also change the box width inside the tooltip. First, we have to enable display color as true, and after that, we can apply box width. Moreover, we can also add subtitle to our chart using subtitle key. By default, it is false, so first set display as true, and then provide a text that you want to display. And the same font and color key can be used to customize it. Moving towards scales now. Scales can also be called as axes. In short, we are talking about x-axis and y-axis. To customize the axes in a chart, you can use various options and settings. We will declare X and Y key in Scales key. I will paste the keys that we will explore in axis, that is grid and ticks. Talking about grid, the grid in Chart.js refers to the background grid lines that help users read and interpret the values on the chart. Grid lines can be displayed along the x-axis and y-axes, forming a grid pattern. Grid are by default true. After that, I will declare color key. You can see the grid line in x-axis is now red in color. Moving forward to ticks. Ticks are just extended line in the axis area beside the chart. Let me show with example. The line in green is called tick. We can disable it using draw ticks as false. The tick follow the line width. We can change the width of line in x-axis using line width. Moreover, we can change the length of tick using tick length. The tick follow the line width. We can define width of the tick using tick width. We can hide our labels using ticks key. I know it's very confusing, but this tick is different. Just put display as false. Change the label color using color key. Customize the font size using font key. Moving forward to y-axis. I forgot to tell you that we can hide grids too. Let me change the color for better visibility. Now just put display as false. Same goes for x-axis. Y-axis follows the same path as x-axis. Let me show some different key that are accepted in y-axis. You can see our y-axis values start from 0. We can stop that using begin at 0 key. The y-axis starts from the lowest value in our data, now that is 20. Let me copy tick's properties from x-axis and paste it in y-axis and modify it a bit. We have step size in y-axis. The step size property is used to set the spacing between ticks on an axis. Now we will adjust the maximum and minimum values for the y-axis scale. We will use suggested min and max. As the name suggests, it provides maximum and minimum values to the y-axis. Sorry, I typed inside wrong key. The chart will attempt to include 100 as the maximum value and 50 as minimum value on y-axis. I forgot to show you some properties, which I will show you now. First is tension property, which is only available in line and radar charts, which is used to control the curvature of the line between data points. The tension value is a number between 0 and 1. Next is fill. The fill property is used to determine whether the area under a line chart should be filled with color. If fill is true, then we can provide background color to it. I will paste more properties which are available for points. Now moving towards events and callbacks in Chart.js. First, we will explore callbacks in Tooltip. Callbacks in tooltips allow you to customize the content and appearance of tooltips by providing functions that generate dynamic content. If we see the documentation of tooltip under configuration, callback provides this much of options to explore. We will only see two options, label and title. First is label. As the name suggests, it allows us to modify the label in tooltip. It provides us with tooltip item as an argument. Let's assume we want to append $K or a $sign in our value. Let me console the tooltip item. We get this much information in our console, but we require data under parsed property, which is our data. We will store the label in variable. Add some condition and then return our label with our sign. Add our sign here. Please note that parsed property is a number for donut and pie chart, but for other chart it is an object. Now we will move towards title callback. We can change the title of our tooltip using this callback. This callback also provides us with tooltip item as an argument. I am going to expand Jan to January, Feb to February. That is expanding the abbreviation. So the idea here is I will use the index on which the user hovers to display the tooltip and return the full month string using that index. Let me paste the months array. We are using data index in the tooltip item as index. We achieved what we need. You can see it works for all the chart. Now, the most useful topic, events. Events are interactions or occurrences that take place on the chart. We will see on click event when the user click on chart data. There may be a task where you want to send data to backend when click on a data value and you want to open a modal where more data will be explored. First, we will declare events of array that we want our chart to react on. As we want to listen on click event, I will add click in the array. Now, the problem here is our tooltip will not be shown as we are only listening to click event. So make sure to add mouse move event in the array. Now, we will declare on click function where it provides event as an argument. Now comes the most important part. We will have to use getElements at event for mode helper, function of chart that allows you to retrieve chart elements based on a specific interaction mode. It takes 4 parameters as shown. Provide the parameters as shown. We will console the response first. As you can see, our response is an array of object. Using the response array, we can now extract the label or data on which the user has clicked. We will use index in the response data to print our label. We will use reference of our chart to access the data and use the index. Let's make it more difficult. I will use stacked bar chart for the click event. Let me paste the second dataset. Let me paste the console code. I want the value and its respective label to be shown in my console when user clicks a data. Now I will show you how to update chart data in real time using Chart's inbuilt method and using React State. First, we will update it using Chart.js method. Removing the second dataset, as you see in the console, our data is inside datasets property. I will update 65, which is on 0th index, to a different value. Just use the reference of the chart to update the data, and then simply use the update method. If you are using this method, then make sure you update your state data as well. Now the second way, using React State. I will set the state of the data using new value. Our state is updated, but our chart does not update the value, or you can say re-render. We can update the chart simply by adding data state in our array of dependency. So our tutorial ends here. If you have watched the video till the end and feel that you have learned something, then make sure you give a like. You can request your package that you want me to explore in the comment section. Thank you.